We spent an entire month in Lisbon recently, and we got to know the city pretty well. We would like now to introduce you to Lisbon through our videos. The video you're about to watch today isn't a travel guide with practical tips and information. It is about all the things you need to know before traveling to Lisbon that relate to the city's history and culture, all those factors that have shaped Lisbon into the city that we know today. Lisbon is the second oldest capital city in Europe after Athens. It was founded by the Phoenicians, who used the Tagus River estuary as a safe trading port. If you prefer mythology over history though, it was Ulysses that founded Lisbon during his journey to the end of the world. However, Portugal is mostly known for pioneering during the so-called Age of Discovery. The latter lasted between the 15th and the 17th century. During that time, large parts of the world that remained unknown and isolated started being colonized by Europeans, especially the Portuguese and the Spanish. The exchange of commodities between the new and the old world was the very beginning of globalization as we know it today. It all started because the Portuguese wanted to find a safe passage to India without crossing the Mediterranean Sea and the lands that awaited beyond, because these were full of enemies and obstacles. But why India? Well, India was famous for its very good quality of spices. Spices were the most expensive products back then, and the Portuguese wanted the monopoly of spices. The rest is history. In the process, almost the entire world, from Asia to Africa to the Americas, was discovered and mapped by great explorers like Vasco da Gama. But that's the glossy part of history. There's also the dark one. The indigenous populations of the newly discovered lands were suddenly faced with death, violence, and slavery. The best place to know more about the Age of Discovery in Lisbon is Belém. This district is intertwined with the Portuguese Age of Discovery, and the most efficient way to delve into this critical period in Portugal's history is to join a guided tour. The Portuguese Empire, that was nurtured by the successes of the Age of Discovery, was suddenly disrupted by the devastating earthquake that hit Lisbon on November 1st, 1755. That day, all the churches were full as people were celebrating All Saints' Day. Many people were killed by the collapsing roofs of churches and other buildings. Those who survived were terrified, and they ran to the shores of the Tagus River to find safety. However, that was when a tsunami hit the city, killing more people and causing even more damage. Meanwhile, the candles that were lit all over the city for All Saints' Day caused huge fires, the final blow in the city's destruction. In the aftermath of the earthquake, tsunami and fires, Lisbon, the fourth largest city in Europe at the time, was leveled. Due to this catastrophic event, the Portuguese worked hard to rebuild the city in a way that would provide safety to the people. At the same time, they set the foundations for the modern science of seismology. The neighborhoods of Baixa and Fado in the heart of Lisbon are fine examples of post-earthquake urban planning. For an insightful journey into the 1755 Lisbon earthquake, don't miss the chance to visit the impressive Quake Museum. The latter offers an immersive experience that allows you to relive the tragic moments of the Lisbon earthquake. Fast forward to the 20th century. From 1933 to 1974, Portugal was under the regime of the Estado Novo, founded by Salazar. During that period, many of Lisbon's monumental constructions and grand avenues were built, and several of its older monuments were restored. All this was done in an effort to connect the city's past with its present, romanticizing colonialism in the process. The dictatorship ended with the so-called Carnation Revolution of the 25th of April 1974. This date is now a national holiday in Portugal, while Lisbon's iconic Red Bridge is also named after it. In 1986, Portugal joined the European Union, and this is why the country's currency is the euro. Another pivotal moment in Lisbon's history is that the city hosted the 1998 World Expo. There are many monuments to commemorate that event, but more on that later. One of the best ways to explore the culture of any destination is its architecture. In Lisbon, architecture reflects the city's rich history in a unique way. Lisbon's monumental buildings and lush gardens have influences from the distant lands the great explorers discovered. A striking example is the Jerónimos Monastery in Belém, which abounds in flower and animal patterns that allude to foreign lands. Walking through Lisbon, it's easy to understand how the earthquake affected the city. Untouched by the earthquake, Alfama offers a glimpse into what pre-earthquake Lisbon must have looked like, while downtown Lisbon, with its wide boulevards and relatively low buildings, is a result of countless studies that were made to protect the city from a future earthquake. In contrast with the spectacular buildings of Lisbon's past, the Park of the Nations, which was built for the 1998 World Expo, and the nearby Vasco da Gama Bridge represent the city's future. Other architectural elements that relate to Lisbon's culture are the city's unique pavements. This type of pavement is called calçada portuguesa. These pavements first appeared in Lisbon in 1840, but soon they spread to the entire country. As you walk around Lisbon, don't forget to look down at all those beautiful mosaic-like patterns that adorn the city. There is nothing more quintessentially Portuguese than the blue and white tiles that adorn the exterior and interior walls of many buildings. The Azulejos tiles may have originated in Arab countries, but they are intertwined with Portuguese culture. Apart from decoration, the tiled walls also serve as reminders of major moments in the country's history. Sometimes they are also used to protect buildings from dampness. To learn more about the Azulejo tiles of Portugal, visit the National Tile Museum of Lisbon. Lisbon's very soul is hidden in the melancholic verses of Fado songs that are carried through the city's streets via the angelic voices of Fado singers. Fado music expresses deep sorrow and saudade, that painful feeling of missing someone. At first, Fado music was performed by or addressed to only certain groups of people, like migrants, prostitutes and sailors. This gradually started to change, from the first famous Fado singer Maria Severa to the queen of Fado, Amália Rodrigues. Fado music soon became an internationally established music genre that made Lisbon known to the entire world. When you walk around Alfama and Mouraria at night, you will hear the Fado tunes reverberate through the century-old walls of establishments frequented by tourists and locals alike. Make sure you follow the music to step inside the very psyche of Lisbon. Traveling is a lot more than checking things off of lists of the best things to see and do. We hope that our video about the main things to know before traveling to Lisbon brings you closer to the Portuguese culture and helps you experience Lisbon in a more immersive way. Our next video will be about all the practical information and travel tips you need to plan the perfect trip to Lisbon, So, if you're planning a trip to Lisbon soon, don't miss it. See you next time!